Hello and welcome to the payroll presentation. We at Total Transportation want to make sure that you are not only paid for the work that you do, but are informed of the policies involving pay. If you have any questions after viewing this presentation, feel free to contact the payroll department using the information shown on screen after the orientation process. This information is subject to change and updated contacts can be found in the orientation notebook sent to you via email. For attending 3 days of orientation, you will receive a total of $320. As with this video's production, you will receive 100 of the $320 on the Comdata card in the form of an advancement. You can use this card like a regular debit card to make personal purchases. Please keep in mind that advances come with a $5 charge, so when you receive your settlement sheet on Wednesdays, it will have a negative $105 charge on it. The remaining $220 of the orientation pay will be taxed and added to next week's paycheck along with any reimbursements that your recruiter promised. To make sure that you get your money, you will need to do the direct deposit form on the first day of orientation and submit your proof of banking document that has your routing number and account number, such as a voided check, an official banking document, or a screenshot from your bank's app via the Driver Post application. Failure to complete this will result in you receiving your pay on the Comdata card. If you ever need to change your banking information, please contact the payroll department. Speaking of contacts, here are the contacts for the payroll department. When you have money-related questions or issues, give the payroll department a call. The payroll main number is listed on screen along with the payroll clerks. Comdata cards were discussed earlier, but what are they? Comdata cards are a fleet payment solution that trucking companies have adopted to manage and control expenses needed for drivers. While it functions primarily as a fuel card, you can also receive expense advances to purchase items for the truck or personal advances for your personal needs, as well as pay for scale tickets. It is an advantage for the company since it allows for manageable spending and detailed reporting of fuel and gives the company access to fuel discounts at major truck stops. As mentioned before, the Comdata card can be used as a personal banking option. If you do not have a bank, your pay can be added to the Comdata card every pay period. Comdata also has an app called Driven for Comdata, and it can be found on the Google Play Store or the iOS App Store. There will be 2 ways you can set up your Comdata card. You can call the number located on the back of the card and it will ask you to set up a 4-digit PIN to activate it. Or you can install the Driven for Comdata application, register if you don't have an account, or log in if you do. Add the card to the app and set up your PIN via the card settings option. It is important that when you do receive your Comdata card that you confirm that your $100 advance has been added. There are times when the card will not have the $100 advance, or it will say that the card has been blocked. Usually, these cases happen with drivers who previously worked for Total Transportation or drivers who have transferred from US Express or Variant. The cause of this is due to the system still retaining your old fueling card, and it can be fixed with a call to the fuel desk department. The fuel desk number is listed on screen. After the fuel desk department has resolved your issue, you can activate your card, set up your 4-digit PIN, and payroll can load the $100 orientation advance to your new card. The payroll period goes from midnight Monday to Sunday at 11:59 p.m. So if you're in the middle of running a load during that time, the pay will be split based on what work has been done, and the remaining pay will appear on the following week's settlement sheet, which is similar to a pay stub. There will be documents you will need to handle in order to be paid for your loads. The most common document are bills, and there are 2 types. There are freight bills, which are invoices detailing the charges for transportation services and serve as a demand for payment. Then there is the bill of lading, a document that functions as a contract of carriage, a receipt for goods, and a document of title. Bill of lading, or BOLs, ensure that all parties agree to the shipment terms and act as a proof of delivery. All bills must be scanned in by midnight on Tuesday to be paid for any loads completed that week. Scan your bills as soon as you finish the load. If you deliver the load, the bill must be signed and or stamped by the customer for you to get paid for it. Please hold all of your paperwork, even after scanning it, for a minimum of 90 days. There are two ways that you can scan in your paperwork. The first way is by using the scanning option located on Macro 8 of the Platform Science tablet. This will allow you to scan your paperwork using the Platform Science tablet's camera, and once finished, you can submit it to complete your load. The second method is by using the Express mobile application, which can be found on the Google Play Store and the iOS App Store. When you're assigned a load, you will have the option to scan your paperwork in. Once again, make sure to scan your paperwork once you finish the load in order to be paid for it. In the Platform Science system, there are a few payroll-related macros you will need to be aware of, beginning with Macro 7. Expense Report Macro 7 is where you can add all expenses used for the truck, excluding fuel receipts. You would use Macro 7 if you paid out of pocket for truck expenses, such as purchasing a wiper blade or wiper fluid. The expense report is part of workflow. The 8 macros you will use from the moment you accept a load to the moment you complete a load. If you forget to key in your expenses before completing Macro 8 of workflow, then you will need to call a payroll clerk to get it entered into the system for you. Lumpers are third-party laborers hired to unload cargo from trucks at warehouses, distribution centers, or shipping docks. Sometimes lumpers are needed and they charge based on the work or time done. Do not add lumper receipts into Macro 7. Instead, scan them in with your signed paperwork. If you must pay out of pocket for a lumper, call payroll so that you can get reimbursed. Delayed at shipper or consignee Macro 14 is what you will use in order to receive detention pay. It is compensation for truck drivers waiting at a shipper or receiver beyond the grace period of 2 hours for loading or unloading. It is paid for an hourly rate at total transportation, which will be the rate that you will see on screen right now. If this amount changes, you will be updated. Keep in mind a few things regarding Macro 14. You must arrive on time, and you need to have time in and time out times listed clearly on the bills. The bills must be scanned in after the load is completed, and you have to submit the Macro 14 after being delayed 2 hours after on-time arrival to begin your detention clock. Advance request Macro 50 allows you to submit personal or expense advances. Personal advances are for you to purchase items for personal use, and you are able to advance $100 every pay period. When attending orientation, the $100 found on the ComData card is a personal advance. Every time a personal advance is processed, there will be a $5 charge, which is shown on the weekly settlement sheet. Expense advances are for items needed for the truck and are not to be confused with the expense report Macro 7. You can advance $51 for expense advances, and there is no $5 charge for it. Payroll setup Macro 53 lets you edit your per diem, and you can change how you want to receive your settlement sheets. You can get your settlement sheets via email or by visiting the totalms.com website. While it is not a macro, the XPE app on the Platform Science tablet is relevant as it will let you submit paid time off requests. This is different from submitting a home time request, Macro 31, as it is not paid time off. Make sure to use the XPE app if you are eligible for PTO. Total Transportation has a $75 bonus for clean level 1 and level 2 hazmat inspections. This means no violations. In order to get paid for a level 1 inspection or level 2 hazmat inspections, you will need to submit a legible copy of the inspection to safety@totalms.com for review in order to qualify. All inspections are sent to payroll on Friday after submission and should reflect on the following week's paycheck. Non-hazmat level 2 inspections or lower do not qualify for the inspection bonus. Regardless, all inspections will need to be reported to safety@totalms.com and it must be legible. Any documents submitted that are not legible will be rejected, so take clean, clear pictures. Total Transportation has driver referrals and accessorial pay programs available for new and experienced drivers. If you know any great drivers to refer, make sure to bring them in and that they list you on their application. The payouts operate as follow. Team referral payouts equal to $3,000 total, with $1,500 being given after referral has 60 days of active employment and the remaining half given after 90 days of active driving employment. Student driver referral payout is $500, and that is given once a student has been upgraded, seated in a truck, and has delivered their first load on the road. The solo experienced driver referral payout is $750 and is given after the referral has 90 days of active employment. While it is not a bonus, Total also has tuition reimbursements for first seat drivers still paying for their CDL. You will be eligible for it after 6 months of active driving employment from your hire date. Per diem is a non-taxable daily allowance or reimbursement for meals and incidental expenses incurred while traveling away from home for work. Total Transportation offers per diem, and it allows you to make up to $80 per day tax-free. All over the road and eligible dedicated new hires will be automatically placed in the per diem program. Drivers who do not want to be part of the program will need to email payroll@totalms.com to opt out of per diem. If you are seated on a truck, you can also use macro 53 to remove yourself from per diem. This method will not work while you are in orientation. If you're being hired as a 175-hour or 50-hour student, you will need to complete the training program and be seated on a truck before you are eligible for per diem. For any questions after orientation, please contact the payroll department for clarification. Lastly, we'll show a video from US Express that talks more in depth about per diem.
Ever wish you didn't have to give so much of your hard-earned money to Uncle Sam? Well, if you're a professional truck driver, you may be able to keep more of your weekly earnings for the things you want with Per Diem Advantage, the benefit designed to optimize your earnings and minimize your taxes. You could take home up to 8% more per paycheck. Because your job as a professional truck driver means you're frequently away from home, the IRS allows you to keep $80 of your earnings per day, tax-free. Per Diem Advantage is now the only way to get that IRS benefit. Here's how it works. If you choose to participate in the Per Diem Advantage benefit, you'll get paid 2 different rates for every mile you run. One rate is taxed by the IRS, and the other rate is tax-free. And for every mile you run, you're getting paid on both of those rates. When it comes time to get paid, all the usual taxes will come out of the tax portion of your pay. But they won't come out of the tax-free portion of your Per Diem Advantage pay, leaving you with more take-home pay each week. Wondering what your take-home pay would be if you choose not to participate in Per Diem Advantage? For the same miles at one fully taxed cents per mile rate, your gross pay may be higher. But once all those taxes come out, you'd be taking home more money every week on Per Diem Advantage. In this example, over $100 more. Multiply that out over a year, and you'd be taking home almost $7,000 more to spend on what you want. Keep in mind that everyone's tax situation is a little different, and some dedicated accounts may not qualify, and that this example does not include any additional bonuses or other pay you may be getting. So use the calculator at usxjobs.com/per diem advantage pay calculator, or find Per Diem Advantage on Atlas to get an estimate that more closely matches your circumstances, and talk with a tax professional if you're still unsure about whether Per Diem Advantage is right for you.